Hey, hey, hey. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Yes, yes, y'all. I'm back. And I'm back after having had a little bit of a comedy situation. I literally just indulged in all the comedy that I could. I needed something to put a smile on my face. So I went down, you know what I'm saying, and got me some Dave Chappelle. I got Bill Burr, too. Bill Burr's actually way, way funnier than people give him credit for. But yeah, there's been a lot of controversy in regards to like what people say about Dave Chappelle. His impact certainly has been very, very controversial, especially the LGBTQ Q community. That's just been crazy, man. But I don't think he went as hard on them this time as he did the last time. But I will say this, man. He says something that if African that if the country's going to be saved, that African Americans will be the ones to save it. And I was like, God damn. Well, that true? Is that true? Like, is Dave Chappelle's statements historically accurate about black people being the ones who have saved America before? Well, it looks like he's right. In fact, I've listed about four times that it could be argued. It could be argued that black people saved America. First time was slavery. The 13 colonies were not necessarily the most profitable thing in the British Empire. The first few winters were very, very hard, and they were facing a kind of bankruptcy. This is talked about in the book, Slavery's Capitalism. It's also talked about in the book we know as The Half Has Never Been Told. That's a book for you right there. If you ain't ever read a book about all the receipts from the transatlantic slave trade and about what it did for America, that's the book right there, right? But so it could be said that America was saved by African Americans during the slave trade. Definitely, it could be said that the Civil War was another incident that blacks saved America. Could be argued. Could logically be said that that's the case, specifically because of the words of the General Ulysses S. Grant. He said that specifically the black soldiers, the colored regiments, the ones that were talked about in like the movie Glory with Denzel Washington and what you call it, Morgan Freeman, Andre Bauer, those specifically were the units that tipped the battle in the favor of the North. So yeah, you have a Union general from back in those days saying, yeah, in fact, blacks did tip the balance of the war in favor of the Union. The next, you could arguably say that the civil rights movement saved America. What was so damaging about the footage from the marches and the barking dogs and the water hose and whatnot was that America had just secured its space as Jason Evans is like, I don't know why people are mad. Straight up, bro. That yo, I mean, what can you logically say about that, right? It could be said that America after the uh, Second World War was the shining city on the hill. That's what was so damaging about all that footage coming out about what was going on to the black folks in the South. The civil rights movement actually, in a way, may not have redeemed the soul of America, but it sure as hell redeemed its image because you have the practice of a liberal democracy that says life, liberty, pursuit of justice for all, actually looking like it's being performed, looking like it's actually playing out in real time. And so you've got that argument being made by the civil rights movement. So that's the third. So first we talk about slavery being the time that African Americans saved America. You could talk about the Civil War, right? With the black troops being the ones who tipped the balance in the battle in favor of the North. You could also say that the civil rights movement, right? That's the other one that you could say definitely blacks tipped the balance in the favor of the North. And then you could also say the Obama administration. Hold on. Before I go into that, I just activated my Patreon page. So like it's popping right now. And my brain is just full of all this research. Like if you see, like I have a freaking bookshelf next to me that's got all sorts of stuff in it. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. Like I just am a nerd like that. So like, follow, share. I'm supposed to say subscribe to my Patreon channel. Okay, let's keep it pushing. So the next thing you have is you've got the Obama administration, arguably saving the United States of America. How? Well, one of the things that was about to happen is that the financial crisis was fully on us, and it was clearly the result of trading practices by the super rich, the wealthy. Like everybody's homes were crashing in value. Everybody's homes are crashing in value. And we were on the edge of popular revolt. And I mean, KRS-One talked about this. It was interesting to hear KRS-One talk about it. We were on the edge of popular revolt, and then suddenly a black president. Suddenly the dialogue shifts from whether or not these people just robbed our descendants with this what you call bailout, but now we're talking about all of a sudden, now we're talking about the actual saving of the country. And then with his policies, in his demeanor and his slow plod through and his relationship with the Federal Reserve actually rescuing the American economy. So that's 4 times right there that Dave Chappelle was right. Jason Evans says, I don't understand why people are mad. Yo, my brother, I could say this. The interesting thing about Dave Chappelle is that, so here's what makes Dave Chappelle interesting. He's already been exiled. What is the thing that all celebrities are afraid of? Falling off. He's already been to the worst possible purgatory that you could have for a comedian, for a celebrity. So that shit don't scare him. Canceled, his show got motherfucking canceled. What are you going to do to Dave Chappelle that hasn't already happened? You see what I'm saying? Dave ain't scared of none of that shit. Dave ain't tripping about none of this cancel culture shit. I mean, he's saying it because he knows he has something at stake, especially if the network, specifically Netflix, don't fuck with his specials no more. But ultimately, the motherfucker the GOAT right now. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker is the GOAT right now. And arguably, the white boy second to Dave Chappelle is Bill Burr. I'm just going to say, if you ain't seen Bill Burr's new special, Paper Tiger, listen, Dave Chappelle has to be actually more surgical than Bill Burr. He's got to be more surgical than his jokes. Bill Burr's just tripping through these fucking landmines. And I'm like, yo, that shit's so incendiary. Like, he'd had to do that shit in Britain. So pound for pound, laugh for laugh, sometimes, in my opinion, Bill Burr gets Dave Chappelle. Pound for pound, laugh for laugh. In terms of insight and in terms of like the cruel irony of life, Dave Chappelle's is the master of that shit, man. And it's amazing to have watched this cat grow. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at his old specials from back in the day, Dave Chappelle really wasn't anything greater than your average comic view black comedian. He was like a step above your average comic view black comedian. How High certainly separated him from the game, and Chappelle so certainly separated from the game. But it's this thing that comedians have, that they're these spiritual teachers in a way. Like, comedians are the jesters. Comedians are the ones who are the joker in the deck. They flip the whole establishment on its ear with a simple joke. In fact, one of the things that happens in tyrannical countries with dictatorships and oligarchies that control everything, is they get rid of the comedians. They get rid of the comedians. In fact, one of the fastest ways to determine whether you live in a tyrannical society is what the fate of your comedians are. You know what I'm saying? Because the tyrants, right? These are spiritual teachers. Like, fuck with me real quick, right? The tyrant is the one that teaches you how to lose your self-importance. If you have a tyrant in your life, a fucking bully, a boss that won't leave you alone, somebody who's actually trying to threaten your life for real, you know what I'm saying? They talk about how that spiritual teacher is the tyrant, and they're there to make you reassess who you are and humble you to a certain extent. Who humbles the tyrant? The jester. The jester humbles the tyrant. You see what I'm saying? And that is exactly what this fool Dave Chappelle is. And so those who are a little bit too wrapped up in their importance, those who are a little bit too wrapped up into those who are a little bit too wrapped into like their ideas of like what's most important about themselves and putting themselves above other people, they fear the comic because the comic will fucking nail you. Why do you think President Trump don't go to those correspondence dinners like Obama and Bush and Clinton did, right? Like, he doesn't go there. Trump doesn't go there because he doesn't like jokes. He's a fucking tyrant, right? I want to be like Dave Chappelle. He says a lot of truth, but I like that it falls, but I feel that it falls short when I see his wife. His content is essentially pro-black and anti-white supremacy, but an Asian wife. They say many truths are said in jest. So Dave Chappelle's wife is Asian. Now, I remember now because I'm a little bit older. I may not necessarily look it, but I'm around 40, right? And so what's so interesting is that I remember in the 90s when having a wife of color was like enough. You see what I'm saying? Like dating just as long as it wasn't like a white girl, because then you could be really accused of being a sellout. But now, with the new epoch we in post Black Lives Matter, that shit ain't woke enough. Now you got to have an actual black woman. And sometimes not even a light-skinned black woman. Like you got to have a black woman. Like you got to have a chocolate Lupita Nyong'o, Angela Bassett looking sister. You know what I'm saying? The girl I'm with is chocolate. You know what I mean? That's just how the chips fell. I just think she's dope. But what's so interesting is that I don't necessarily know if him having an Asian wife cancels out his wokeness. I don't even know if he had a white wife that would cancel that out. Because you look at what he risks, you look at what he challenges, and you look at what's at stake for him, right? What else could Dave Chappelle actually take? You see what I'm saying? What else could he actually take? I know that about people of color, you know what I'm saying? We don't all have the same struggle, but color puts us in the same box and we don't have the same experiences. Okay, I can see that. People of color is a term that arrived in the 90s and things were a little bit different back then. I can say that what's interesting about a lot of black folks is we don't study the similarities that we have with a lot of other folks who are also colonized. For example, I didn't know that there was chattel slavery in Vietnam, like full on chattel slavery. The way that we know slavery, that's what the French did to the Vietnamese, full on. You see what I'm saying? And so if she's from that stock, then she's actually then she's like, you know what I'm saying, from that. But I get it, you know what I mean? Like I'm pro-black, my lady's from Africa, you know what I mean? Like straight up. So the bottom line is personal politics is one thing, but what the motherfucker risk is another thing altogether. You know what I'm saying? Dave puts it on the he puts it on the line. Like it is what it is. He already been, for example, he already been dropped by BuzzFeed. Interesting thing about Dave Chappelle, he already been dropped by BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed don't fuck with him no more. You know what I'm saying? So whatever ad revenue he had coming from that, whatever he was doing with BuzzFeed, and that was like, you know what I'm saying, raising his profile or whatnot, he actually is losing that right now because of the shit that he said, you know what I'm saying? Which is food out the mouth of his wife, you know what I'm saying? Food out the mouth of his children, you know? Like that's a real thing. Like it is what it is. Ben Carson's married to a black woman and he ain't said shit that was pro-black. Ben Carson got a sister. You know what I'm saying? That mother, and they both in the sunken place. What the fuck does it matter who you married to if y'all both in the sunken place? You know what I'm saying? Barack Obama got a nice chocolate woman. He didn't touch nothing regarding race until the last 6 months of his presidency when he did My Brother's Keeper and he started addressing prison industrial complex. You feel me? Like that's a part of the equation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for real, it's not the whole thing. There's plenty of sellout coon motherfuckers who got a fucking black ass wife with them and they just sell out and coon together. You know what I mean? So that's one aspect, but that ain't every aspect. You know what I mean? It's about what you got at risk, what you could motherfucking lose. And a lot of these people that Dave Chappelle is pissed off just ain't used to nobody challenging them. You know, a lot of them ain't used to anybody actually getting at them like that. For example, you know, in this game, you gotta be able to take a joke a little bit. You know, that was literally my grandpa's most common phrase was "fuck them if they can't take a joke." Fuck them if they can't take a joke. That shit is interesting, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like I think if you take yourself so seriously that you can't see the humor in the joke that somebody cracked it. Now, you know, there's always an excessive level to it. If you roast on a motherfucker too hard, come on now. You know what I mean? Like if you're going too hard on somebody, if you actually doing shit that's harmful and brutal and painful. But what Dave is navigating is the character assassination. What Dave is navigating is the possibility that he could lose his entire career because of the fact that He's actually saying shit that's challenging, and he's speaking up for us. You know what I'm saying? Like that's dope to me. That's dope to me. Could Dave Chappelle save America? Could he be the African American that saves America? I don't know. I don't know. Does America need to be saved? That's a question. Should America be saved? Is it possible for that to be the case? You know what I'm saying? I think about that constantly. Sometimes if you are an arborist, you can look at a forest and tell if it's ready for a fire. And you can tell by looking at what's on the ground to see if that fire is likely. You can tell sometimes if that fire would be good for the forest. You know what I'm saying? And America kind of reminds me of that sometimes. America looks like a place that might be overdue for like some kind of turmoil. I don't know what it is. And I don't wish it either. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody, all these brothers and sisters that be wishing for the end of America, like I feel you, but look at Katrina. You know what I'm saying? Like low key, look at look at what's it called, Bahamas right now. You know what I mean? Like if we end up too close to the fire, we get burned too. Real talk, you know. Maybe that's supposed to happen too, you know. But a lot of us that's like talking shit about America is in, should we say, geographically vulnerable areas. A lot of us live in California. You talking shit about America. Okay, cool. It does deserve the criticism. But if you want a natural disaster hit, that shit could look like the freaking earthquake flattening your little place you live. You feel me? Like a lot of us live in Houston. A lot of us live in like, you know what I mean, coastal areas. Black people don't be swimming, but live in coastal areas. That shit blows my mind, right? You know what I mean? Like. So sometimes I do wonder if America can or should be saved. I don't know, but I do know that I live here, and I'm never too far away from that fact. You see what I'm saying? Like when we wish for collapse, when we wish for things to go down, you know, we have to keep in mind that we also get our food from the grocery store, whether it be Walmart or Kroger or whatever. And, you know, that place only got 3 days supply of food tops. What you gonna do on day 4? Do any of us hunt? And you know those killer Mike kind of questions. Like, do we grow food? Do we have any means of supporting ourselves? Do we have green technology? Do we have a power generator outside of the house? You know what I mean? Like these are the things we have to think about. And these are the things that we should be plotting for if we actually want independence. Independence is a journey. Independence is something like when you were a kid and you about to leave your parents' house, right? You don't want to be dependent on them. It's a small step. It's, you know, you take one step at a time before you actually end up becoming self-sufficient. But self-sufficiency starts while you're underneath somebody's roof. And I don't think that Black people are considering that. I just want you to consider it, man. I just want you to think about it, you know? So, yeah, I'll definitely say that. Once again, I'll review the 4 instances where Black people did save America. First was chattel slavery itself. It is not deniable. The revenue generated, you know what I'm saying? The revenue that's generated from slavery, it literally turned America to Saudi Arabia of cotton. Can't be denied. Second time that Black folks saved America was during the Civil War. Ulysses Grant said, without a doubt, it was the Black regiments that tipped the balance in the favor of the North. Third time was actually the Civil Rights Movement, when America was losing its profile in the world because of the expose of all of its brutality against Black folks. The Civil Rights legislation in 1964 and the enacting of it for the next several decades made America look like it was actually what it said on paper. And finally, it could be argued that the Obama administration saved America, as we were on the brink of civil war due to the mortgage crisis and the bailout having been administered despite the will of the American people, and the fact that like there was literally about to be chaos in the streets. They sold the wealth of the future generations to the banksters, and then suddenly a Black president. It could be argued that Obama was the 4th thing that I could list right here that saved America that Black folks did, right? And the facts of the history lessons are very solid thoughts. Thank you very much. To be pro-Black, you only need people who have a genuine and educated interest in the Black experience, the true socioeconomic position of Black people in this country. That's fact. I'll say this, no matter how Asian Dave Chappelle's wife is, that don't make him no lighter. He Black. And he been knowing it all his life. And if they ever get divorced, he's still gonna be Black. And if he remarries another woman, he gonna be Black at that point in time. You see me? Like his freaking kids are Black. It is what it is. It's about investing. It's about investing in the things that make this thing go around. You know what I mean? And I feel that it's important for us to consider this, and that the role of the jester, I can't stress this enough. Ultimately, my viewpoint is that everything can teach you a spiritual lesson. Everything in the world, no matter how brutal or how lighthearted it is, no matter how light or dark it is, everything can teach you. And people are not really getting the lesson that Dave Chappelle is teaching. He's the jester, man. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that puts everything in context. They always say that there's two spiritual teachers. They don't talk about the tyrant and the jester. Everybody attracts a tyrant in their life. Everybody gets a bully in their life, somebody who humbles them, somebody who makes them reconsider what their capacities are to deal with conflict and asserting themselves in trauma. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes, what's the check and balance to that? The jester. Just like it's the very same thing in playing cards. There's the king, there's the ace, but the most powerful one, bam, the joker. The joker. You know what I'm saying? It's the joker. That's who he is. And if you take yourself too seriously, a comedian is a threat to you. I don't know if y'all was tuning in before, but I said in tyrant regimes, the first thing they get rid of is comedians. The motherfuckers can't take a joke. So if you can't take a joke to a certain level, are you a tyrant of some type? Are you somebody who can't actually face yourself, face your effect on the world, and just look at what's funny about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of the greatest lessons of my 20s. When I was in my 20s, I had to learn how to laugh at myself. I had to learn how to laugh at myself. Like, it just made everything lighter. You see what I'm saying? Dave Chappelle is teaching that to the world. He's literally on a certain level, a kind of a prophet in that way. You see what I'm saying? Like, Chappelle is one of those cats who's making it difficult for us to turn away from who we've become as a people in this country. Like Dave Chappelle to the motherfucking rescue in many, many ways. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, you can't cancel a man who's already been canceled. He already been the laughing stock of the world. He already had to fly to Africa to get his mind right. He's already gone through that. He's already gone through the very thing that most celebrities fear, which is oblivion out of the public spotlight. It's already been there. You see what I'm saying? That make him a dangerous man. That's a dangerous motherfucker. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have anything to lose, but that makes him a very, very dangerous man. Oh my God. You know what I mean? I mean, talk to anybody with nothing to lose. Talk to anybody who's faced the worst possible outcome that somebody else can inflict upon them and then made it through the other side. I mean, the motherfucker's back on top and dealing with drama. You know what I'm saying? You can't scare him. Does he scare you? Like, are you somebody who is afraid to actually have somebody roast you? Are you somebody that's afraid to have somebody laugh at you? You know what I'm saying? These are the things you got to ask yourself. These are the things that make us better people. Like, he's literally trying to have us be better people. And the thing that I feel about all of this that's going on in the world right now is that we never are asking ourselves, what is the universe and shit trying to teach us through these events? What are they trying to teach us through this event? Like, for example, what is the universe teaching Black people through white supremacy and our trials and tribulations with that? Feel me? What is the universe trying to teach America about itself through its reaction and its treatment to Black people? This brings to mind something that James Baldwin said. James Baldwin said that the sick person in the equation is the one who needs a nigger. James Baldwin asked, why does America need a nigger? Why do you need it? Why do you need somebody that's at the bottom of the social stratum? Why do you need somebody that's going to make you feel better? Like, what was it? Toni Morrison said, if I got to be on my knees for you to feel tall, you're the one who got the problem, right? The Joker exposes all of that. The Joker is the one that makes that clear. The Joker is the one that puts things in perspective. You know what I'm saying? The most powerful card in the deck. Boom, the Joker. That's Dave. That's motherfucking Dave, yo. That shit makes me happy, like, just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was always in his corner when the brother was kind of cast into Hollywood oblivion for telling the truth. He became a legend. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude's a beast. So I try to be that in certain ways. And starting with myself. You know, all of this rhetoric that we got about who we are and whatnot, I take it seriously, but to a certain extent. To a certain extent. To a certain extent, you got to be balanced about this shit. Like, to a certain extent, you got to be humble about this shit. To a certain extent, you got to be human about this, right? You got to be realistic in your expectations of your people. You got to be realistic in your expectations of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, we only have a limited capacity as human beings. Acknowledging those limitations makes you stronger because it makes you know where to work. It makes you know how hard to work to overcome that. You see what I'm saying? So, in all, I'm saying this cat Dave Chappelle, he's doing the necessary thing to make us ask the right questions. As far as his offensiveness to the supposed LGBTQ, I'm not calling them a supposed community, but it's supposed defense of that community. Listen, trans people been like that motherfucker funny. You know what I'm saying? Like they've commented on the blogs about him, like that shit was funny. He didn't really go at them and denigrated them. He just kind of ruffled their feathers a little bit. He ain't this like, hey, he didn't say, oh, everybody go out and commit a hate crime. He was just putting that shit in context a little bit. And really, the people he went at the hardest was white people. The people who Dave Chappelle went the hardest at was white people. You know what I'm saying? When he said, the way that y'all look going through this opioid crisis make me feel like how y'all must have felt when y'all saw us going through crack. Damn. He was like, I truly don't give a fuck. That's some shit to say. That is some amazing shit to say. It takes courage, man. It takes risk. That takes a lot of moral fortitude. It takes a lot of upright integrity. You see what I'm saying? Like comedy with integrity is some dangerous shit in a world that don't got integrity. Comedy with integrity, comedy with moral compass, comedy with the backbone, comedy with a fearless edge and sharp teeth. You know what I'm saying? Comedy that makes people question who they are is the kind of comedy that ends up creating ripple effects that go across time, man. That's what he's creating. What are y'all some of y'all thoughts on Dave Chappelle, man? Y'all talk to me. What are y'all some of y'all thoughts on what you seen? Somebody earlier said that they don't see what the big fuss is about. He says, Jason said, I don't know why people are mad. Yeah, what are some of y'all thoughts on it, man? You know what I'm saying? Talk to me, because I'm trying to figure this out too. I can sit up here and pontificate all day. I get paid to speak at universities. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, Patreon's up. And yeah, drop a couple ducats in the bucket, man. And if you, I enabled the super chat too. So if y'all out here super chatting, go ahead and do that. Yeah. But and then make sure y'all freaking like this stuff, because I got way more of these coming later on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But at any rate, look at the gestures in your life. Look at the people who are making jokes. Look at the and look at how they make you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I became a good talker because I got made fun of in middle school. Oh my God. I wasn't the athlete that I am now. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I was a little dude. So I had to learn how to make fun of myself before somebody else made fun of me. I had to be the one to actually beat folks to the joke. That's what gave me my sense of humor. It was funny. Most people missed the message. Hell yeah. What do y'all think the message was? What do you think that actually was when it comes to like what was supposed to get done with that? Because my thing, yeah, what do I feel Dave's ultimate message was? I feel that Dave's ultimate message might have been the fact that this whole thing is going down and nobody can see it, you know? I bet you sometimes Dave Chappelle feels like the only cow on the farm that knows how the fuck burgers get made. I bet he's the only, I bet he feels like that sometimes, you know? I bet he feels like somebody who actually could see this. And the only thing that makes it feel good to him and the only thing that makes him want to keep on going is that he has the ability to share these ideas with the world. That's probably the only thing that makes it feel good about, you know, how he feels. Most comedians, if you know them personally, got a dark side. That's kind of where the humor comes from. In fact, most comedians' dark side is so deep that the humor is the thing that's keeping them alive. Motherfuckers are writing jokes with their whole life on the line. You know what I'm saying? Robin Williams is proof of that. You know, like a lot of comedians got such a dark side that it becomes difficult for them to actually live among other people because they see shit that other people simply don't see. You know, they see things that fucking disturb people. They see things that will make the average person upset. And the only thing they got is that magical mind that can transform it and transmute it into something that gives them wings, something humorous, something that creates levity, and then fucking get paid for it. Also, you know what I mean? And then get paid to make people laugh. That to me is deep. That to me is dope. You know what I mean? So yeah, what do y'all feel like some of Dave Chappelle's messages was? We're all in this together. We need to get out there and work on it straight up. And it's interesting, right? Thank you, Jason. Yeah, like we are in this together. Like we hella are. even with the motherfuckers we don't like, even with like, people who you would see as the folks who are or in the oppressor class. The bottom line is you could be in a room full of white folks you don't like. If a bomb hit that room, y'all all dead. Peace. You see what I'm saying? That's the facts of it. All this shit we talking, all this shit we debating. If the Amazon burned and ain't no more oxygen, debate over. That's the facts. Asteroid hit the planet, boom, it's over. You know what I mean? Like we actually are in this together, and the shit's weird because I know people don't want to hear that. As soon as I start saying that, people start bailing. That's what's up, though. But the facts are the facts. Just because you're on the woke side of things doesn't mean that you can't get challenged every once in a while. I challenge my own people sometimes, man. I have to. They challenge me. It is what it is, you know? But yeah, man, I think that the tragedy of bigotry is that we're all human and we just missing out. That's the biggest tragedy about it all. We are in this motherfucker together. And until we actually create systems and create policy that actually makes that a thing, then first of all, the people in power lose the connection with us. And the second thing is that like us black folks be having to react to this shit all the time. That shit make me upset. I hate having to fight this all the time. You know what I mean? It bothers me. It makes me feel like there's other things that I could be doing with my life. But yet and still here we are, shining the best light that we can in the world just to make this shit a better place. So with that being said, the 4 times that black people saved America, again, before I get off, slavery, we turned this place to the Saudi Arabia of cotton, the Civil War, because the fucking black troops tipped the balance in the favor of the North. Civil rights movement gave us the moral high ground in the world once again. And Obama low-key saved us from a depression. So that's my word right now. Like, follow, share, drop some ducats on Patreon because your boy's out here making it work for real, finally. You know what I'm saying? Away from the day job. So yeah, man. I got more content like that coming up. Check out my video about Black Americans and are we Native Americans. Check out the video that I got around can the American experiment be saved? I got all kinds of videos out there. So yeah, go check them out, man. Drop some money in the Patreon bucket and I will talk to y'all later. Holla back. Peace.